Let me start like, it's the first time I've met Martin. Yes, my name is Mzamo. My name really, literal translation means try. It's just try it. It's not just do it, it's just try it. And that's just literal. My mother was like, that's it, just try. The second thing I need to say up front, I'm going to do my level best to speak clean English. Like, I'm really going to try, like, everything in my power to do it. But please do forgive me if every now and then I just slip. It's Saturday. English is not my mother tongue. So every now and then it disappears and goes somewhere. And so the only lesson I can teach you is English or fluency in English can never be a measure of intelligence. So, speak the English you speak and don't worry. Just because you can't do it with the twang, it doesn't matter. As long as we can hear you, as long as the alphabet is the alphabet, it's okay. You are not dumb. Because some people invented equations in German, not in English. So rockets are not always invented in English. Even Russians are also smart and they don't speak English always. So don't worry about language. It's not a measure of intelligence. The second thing is, when I saw Martin, it just reminded me of one thing. There's genuinely, race is a human construct, and racism is a human construct. There's only one race, the human race. So, the third thing that he reminded me on was, I spent time in India. I lived in India, and I used to attend Hindu sessions on Hindu monks. And one of them said something profound to me and said, who you are is God's gift. What you become is your gift to God. So decide what gift you're going to give God. I'm going to talk about me, and then you're going to have to forgive me. Then I'm just going to be like so honest and so like just as is. And I hope that in so telling you this truth, at least you might find yourself in it. And that's me. The only time I'm like looking clean, like seriously. So I put it up because I had to go to some photo shoot. And so that's me looking really, I like myself there. Oh, that's another lesson. If you are waiting for people to externally affirm you, you will wait for a very long time. So if I come to you and I say you are beautiful, and it's the first time you're hearing it, you are in trouble. And you're giggling, oh, so nice. It means you lack self-awareness and you have low self-esteem. Because anything I tell you should either enhance what you know, it should alter what you know, or it should affirm what you know. If you don't know yourself by now, you need to do a lot more work understanding who you are. Or else if you don't know you, then you're going to wait for some guy or some girl to tell you something that's just not true most of the time. So just know you and know you so well and pinch yourself like I do it every now and then. I change my wardrobe to mirrors because I just need to look at myself. When I wake up, I look at myself like, yes. So, I'm going to start here. I walk a lot, so you forgive me because, I've been free now for 23 years, but the first 13 I was confused. So it's only the last 10 I've been thinking, this thing looks like it's here to stay. So let me just calm down and be free. So I walk a lot because also I grew up in a shack. So space is still my issue. So just know. So if it's disturbing to you, please forgive me. I'm just like enjoy the idea of space. Because, I know I only grew up with play outside. I didn't have the privilege of go to your room. I don't know that. So that's me. And that's the photo, which is me. What did I do? Oh, okay, it's a laser. Oh, does the laser work? Okay, you can see that shack most. Everyone kind of familiar with the zinc. So that's where I grew up. And a shack is really not nice. I can tell you that. It's really terrible, especially when it's hot. Because it takes away the dramatic effect. If you want to cry in a shack, you are screwed. You can't do both. You can't cry and sweat. Something has to give. You can't. It's just not possible. And the only thing I've learned from growing up in a shack is that I'm here now, so which means it's possible. So you are not your zinc. It's just shelter. So you can't be defined by it. So that's the first thing. And also the other thing that I've learned is that I grew up under mainly this word. I had this word when I was 4, and it was used to me at age 4. And I remember it because I was 4, and my neighbor, who used to visit Mzamo prison a lot, every now and then he would come back on vacation from Mzamo prison, whom I admired, was my role model because he had 28, 27, 26. And I wanted all those numbers as well. Like, I thought, like, that's it, graduation. And so he had come out of prison, and now the guy, in those days, the postal guy, what do you call them, postman, used to ride a bicycle. And it was a white guy. That, like, amongst white people in apartheid, if you rode a bicycle, like, that was, like, you know, like, Shemashem, this guy, they had to find him something, at least. Because, I mean, that's the best job he could find. So he rode a bicycle, and he left it outside our house. And he went in to talk, and when he came out, the bicycle was gone. It was not stolen per se, it was appropriated without compensation. So he came out running and he said to me, "Hey, fucking cover," and I was 4. And he shook me up and he said, "Where's my bike?" And I was like, all I was thinking about was, what is this guy? What is this word? And the lesson I learned from it is that words have meaning. And if I were you, as you start growing up, you need to be careful what you say to other people and what words you use for other people, because words have power. For those of you who are religious, there's a part in the scripture that says, in the beginning there was the word. And everything was created by the word. And that word has power. And that word we live with. That word, it took me 17 years to decolonize my mind from that word. And the thing that helped me decolonize my mind, I was in the US. I got scholarship at age 16 to go to the US. And I was there. And I was living in this town called Tendley Town. And every time I would walk out, the police would stop me. And I would always say to the guy, "Can't you see it's the same black guy? Like, at some point there must be a template, like, oh, same guy. Next." But I was missing black people. So I asked, "Where are black people?" They said, "No, there's a place called Anacostia." So I go there. When I went there, and I was like, "Oh, shit. Yeah, that's one. I'll just make a plan. Hallelujah." Then when I went there, and I realized that, I'm going to get robbed here. These are my people, but And I know in all poor areas, there are only few things that you will find: a church, a bottle store. These two are friends. They like same WhatsApp group. In most instances, they are always taking money. But these two, they are friends. And so I decided to go inside a church because I know most black people won't rob you inside a church. At least they still have that thing, heaven exists, and there's hell. So everyone is watchful of hell. So I went inside. For the first time when I went inside, I looked up the painting of the Last Supper, Jesus and his disciple. They were all black. And Jesus had cornrows and dreadlocks. And I've never seen that before. I was so confused. And I said, "No, that's blasphemy." And then they were like, "No, why can't he?" And for the first time, that word dropped. Because for the first time, I could see God in my own image. and he started to make sense. He started becoming a comrade, and he started becoming a freedom fighter, and he started becoming all the things that I wanted him or her to be. So the first lesson learned from this, you need to find ways to decolonize your own inferiority complexes. If you grew up poor, you have it. I promise you, it's called poverty, pent-up desires. And it's called deprivation theory. It's in psychology. They studied poor people. You suffer from deprivation because when you look at a car, you're like, yo, I need that car. You need to calm yourself down and learn. Learn who you are up front. The sooner you do it, the better. Because you will carry that inferiority complex with you all the way to work. And then you will make other people and give them power over you because you feel inferior. So the first thing I learned was, I'm not inferior. It's a lie. Black does not equal inferior. Black does not equal dumb. That we are all created equal in the eyes of the guy who created us, if he is a guy. We are all equal. So that's the first lesson. The second lesson is, be careful what comes out of your mouth, because that's a prophecy. So what you call people matters. And the most important thing, it even matters more when what you call them when they are not in your presence. And never say anything about anyone if you can't say it in their face, because then you're a coward. The only thing you can say, if you're going to gossip about someone, first make sure you told them that you listen, I'm going to say things about you. These are things I'm going to say about you. And that's it. So that's the lesson. And that's my mother. My father, whom I shall not show you or point at, decided to take a vacation when I was less than a year old. He just bounced. 8 out of 10 black kids are born to single mothers. 5 out of 10 white kids are born to single mothers. So it's not a race thing. It's just there are these fathers who just decide to bounce, who just decide to be irresponsible. So my father bounced. And the lesson I learned from him, I am actually my father's son. My mannerisms are my father. The gift of the gab is my father. And just him, I am him. So I had to learn to just forgive the guy because he's a product of his own circumstances. His father didn't raise him. So all we do is repeat cycles. Why are we born in families? I believe we're born in families to break cycles. You must find the cycles in your own family that you need to break. Mine, I want to be a great father. My kids, I want to be so present. And I do that partly because it's the right thing to do. But I also do it because I know it's a curse in my own family. And if I can break it, the next generation won't need to. So find the things in your own families you have to break. There are many, so many. My family, it's this thing and drug addiction. Yo, these two, I know, top, same WhatsApp group at home. And I know that I need to watch drugs because somehow it looks like it likes my blood a lot. So I must stay away from nyaupe, must stay away from cocaine, I must stay away from those things because they're not good for me. Because I know my family is just naturally addicted to that stuff. The second lesson here, that's my mom. My mom was a domestic worker. We grew up together, as in we even went to school together. When she was in her late 30s, she went back to school. When I was in high school, my mother was in high school with me. We were studying together. My mother finished high school with A's. That's a lot of pressure. You do not want your mother to have A's. My mother went to varsity, finished her degree, and then finished her honors. My mother only started working in her late 40s as a social worker. In somewhere there, she did another degree. At age 50, she did a master's at Stellenbosch. So, the lesson I've learned from her is that it is genuinely to be young, gifted, and free without opportunity is a devil's gift. But when you get given that opportunity, seize it. Just grab it. Just grab the opportunity, because if you want hell on earth, remain in poverty. I know it. That's not a nice space. People glorify poverty. There's nothing nice about poverty. I tell you this always. To cry in a mansion or in Sentin with aircon, yo, just so nice. The dramatic effects of crying are just better. It just feels right. Like, it just feels so right. Like, and then I jump into a pool, just for control. Yeah, so it just works. So my mother is a great lesson on there are people who will give us opportunities. They will. They exist. Martin is one of them. The team that makes up Moshal exists is one of them. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. You are what you do, not what you say. Even the scripture says, what is faith without action? It is empty. So if you just talk and not do, then it's empty. So please just be doers and seize this opportunity and just grab it and then pass it forward. The reason I have like 50 kids now, that I take a portion of my money and I give to them, because I know someone decided to be kind and give me an opportunity. Because I'm smart. Like super smart, like really smart. So that's my mother. So I adore her. So the first thing I've learned from her, from any of you, for me, charity begins at home. I cannot be kind to anyone if my mother does not know my kindness. So for any of you, if you come from families where I come from, I don't believe there's such a thing as black tax. I think it's a culturally insensitive term to use the word black tax. How can your mother be a tax? How can your uncle be a tax when these people raised you? How can Ubuntu become a tax? Why take sometimes individualistic Western concepts and drag it to your culture when your culture is communal? Being communal means you need to give back. It's ingrained in your DNA. So now when you're going to use words like tax, tax is a grudge thing you do. Everyone tries to avoid tax. Do you avoid your mother? You don't. And you avoid your uncle? You don't. So this thing that we use words and we don't even think about their meaning, and they are so culturally distant from who we are, it makes us what? Empty. We are actually colonized when we take things and assimilate them in our genes. So my mother is not black tax. My mother is the first person who's going to know my kindness. So when I buy my mother a house, I was very happy because it was the thing that I've always wanted to do. Now, I give her money like she has to go overseas 3 times a year. Because my plan is when she dies, she's going to have a 3 grand funeral. That's it, done, cheap. Because I do not believe that black people should spend 0 on you and then spend 100,000 rand on you when you're dead. It doesn't make sense. I am dead. I'm not going to be an ancestor that's nice to you now. You were not nice when I was alive. You cannot spend 100 grand now and then think I'm going to be nice to you. Be nice now. Give me flowers while I'm awake, not when I'm dead. So that's my mother. So I adore her. So if you ask me who my role model is, other than Steve Biko and Thomas Sankara and Robert Sobukwe and Frantz Fanon, my mother is my role model. That's me when I was in Scouts. This is the greatest thing that ever happened to me. My stepfather who raised me, blessed his soul, he helped me because at some point I hated men. Because I always think like, why would my father abandon me? Just like that. But my stepfather rescued me because he showed me that you can be a father, you don't have to give birth to a child. And he took care of me. And when I started stealing, because in my township, I was like in Mitchell's Plain, Valhalla Park, and so I'm like hardcore gangster drug. All I wanted was to be a 28, 27 and just sell a few drugs and just, and then drive a BMW 325 IS. And that's just it. Ikushesh, and that's it. I'm done and I'm made. And have a gold ring and gold chain. Then I'm the guy. And have a gold teeth. Those were my ambitions in life. initially. My dad saw that I was starting to take well into trading illegally. And I wanted to be the better trader. So he took me to Scouts, and Scouts saved my life. And the key thing that Scout did for me is a lesson again. They kept me busy. The greatest thing you can do for yourself, you don't want to get distracted, stay busy. Stay busy. If you're not busy, if you're talented, it's an idle space. And in a talent that's idle, you are in deep trouble. I nearly said in deep shit, but you are in deep trouble. So, I know you're paying attention. So that's the thing that really helped me. My dad took me to Scouts, and Scouts, I started doing mountaineering, climbing. I started learning about a compass. And then also I started competing with other kids. The first 15-day hike I did, I had no backpack, I had no compass, and we were number 2. What did we use? We just used the stars to figure out. And the thing is, because we grew up poor, food was always available. We knew how to make it work. And we know Tinai bean, how to stretch it. Just one baked beans, we could stretch it. So we knew. So now, all of a sudden, my poverty is my advantage. The other kids are complaining, how can they give us just one biscuit? I'm like, hey. So sometimes, I learned this thing, I was listening to T.T. Jakes, and he was talking about, sometimes your blessings come from a broken space. First, like God, like Jesus, he does something like where he breaks bread, and then he produced more bread, and he broke fish, and he produced. It was in the breaking that many multiplied. It was actually in the breaking. So now you need to sometimes be broken to multiply. So I learned a lot from Scouts. So I am so into anything that takes youth out of. It keeps you busy. You are in an okay space. Those are my daughters, and I adore them, and I really wish I can at least be a perfectly imperfect father. That's all I wish for, is that at least I can be a perfectly imperfect father. And the key lesson I could just give to them is that because I am raising kids, and I'm raising daughters, and I know how men are mean, and I know that. And I know that I'm a man, and I know that I carry most male unearned privileges. Partly the reason I'm the chief marketing officer is because I've been a board member at Unilever, partly because guys will promote me first before a woman. Sometimes it happens because I'm a man, not because I'm smarter than the lady. So I carry some male unearned privileges. And sometimes I am the problem, because the problem must fix other problems. Men must tell other men that they are the problem. It is not women's job to change men. It is men's job to change us. When you see your outie or your friend beating their girlfriend, it is your job to say this is unacceptable. It's not the other woman to tell him that. So that's something that I'm learning, that even with my own kids, I'm really trying, like, to see that can they see me as a male that they could look up to, but as also a male that's equal but different. Because there's no such thing that they are not equal to me. Because I really don't believe, like when God created, says you are inferior, you are superior. I didn't see that part in the scriptures. And I've studied all the scriptures because I don't have one religion. I just have all the religions. I just do all of them, just in case. Never know. You know, I'm covering my base. You never know. So when I see Muslim people, I'm like, salam, salam. Because you never know, inshallah, this side, then I'm going this side, shalom, never know, you know, just in case they carry the key to heaven. Then I see people from Shembe, I'm like, oh, Yingwele, then I move there. So it's just, you never know. So I'm covering my bases because I only know there's one God. So that's the God I believe in. The worst thing that happened to me is, as I've said to you, I'm going to be open and honest with you. This is the worst thing that happened to me. I got divorced. And it has happened to me twice. Yes. I really really have not really been good at husbandry. It's a lesson I'm learning every day. But here my lesson to you. I cannot give you a lesson on this. It's a long conversation about marriage and divorce, and it's a long one. The lesson I can give you, though, particularly females, is that what I tell my kids is delay, 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 and delay, if you can. Delay having kids, delay getting married. I'm not saying don't do it, I'm just saying delay. First, be free, then get married. Your husband should not be your freedom or your ticket to somewhere. You should be the ticket to yourself, with or without him. So delay, 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 and still do it if you want to, but delay. And if you don't do it, not everyone was meant to do it. And it shouldn't define you as well. So it's not the only thing you should be in life. There's more single people out there who are happy. Even Oprah is a billionaire and she's not married. It's okay. You're not abnormal. You are normal. So that's the lesson I learned. And the second lesson I learned for my kids is my daughters, I tell them, please date yourself first. Always date yourself first. Know yourself so well. Because I know with ladies, what I've noticed, guys don't do this a lot. But with ladies, you date me and you know me so well. You know me more than I know myself. But you know yourself so little. Why would you invest so much time knowing me when you should invest all that time knowing you? So just date yourself as long as you can, so that you don't end up with the things that I've ended up with. This is one of my lowest points in life, and I don't wish it upon anyone. And I'm learning so many times how to do it right, how to be present, how to listen. Someone once told me the greatest secret is an unexpected gift and an unexpected moment at an unexpected time. But men must pay attention. So now I have a lover that I love so much. She's sitting there, and I'm trying so hard to pay attention. So that's the thing. So then that's my dad. My dad passed away from HIV/AIDS. And you can see like I'm taking you from high to low. I'm very sorry. Every now and then, like I just throw you out. The lesson I learned from my father is that my father was kind, was really kind. Like to me, because he raised me, he didn't have to. And he rescued me from poor masculinity, which is my biological father. When I was growing up, I used to call him my sperm donor, but now he's my father. So I've forgiven him because I've learned to forgive is to free yourself. And now I'm at peace. And also when you forgive, you don't repeat cyclings. Partly I'm divorced and some of these things because I keep repeating cyclings. I am trapped sometimes in my own anger. So if you forgive, you release a lot of things from yourself. And you don't become your own prison. So that's the lesson I learned from my father. My father, this one, I am so grateful to him. But one thing my father had was a flaw in him. He was a womanizer. Like Rolling Stone to the max. Like hardcore, next door, street, everywhere. He's just... Then the lesson I learned from that as well is that our parents are flawed, but they are yet perfect. So when you think about your parents, think about them in the context of, my mother is great, but. My father is great, but. He had his own flaws. And now my job is to break that cycling. So I'm getting tested like every year, twice. Yo, test. Yes, just want to make sure. Condoms, 100. Make sure. Everything, because why? I want to break that cycling. It's important. Don't womanize. Stay. And also one thing I'm learning, it's much easier to just have one person. Yo, I promise you, it's just easy. Multiple, it's too much work. And the lying that needs to happen corrupts you without you knowing. You become something that you're not. You lie until it becomes your truth. And you start believing your own propaganda. And so if I were you, the lesson I've learned from my father, monogamy actually has its place. It has an amazing advantage. You just focus. So you don't need to worry. When you walk at a mall, you're not worried, oh shit, so-and-so at pitch here. I said I'm in Alex, but I'm in Sentin. I don't need that in my life. That's too much drama. So that helps. I'm talking this to guys because most of the time, it's us who mess up. Most of the time. I'm not saying ladies don't do it, because sometimes ladies are submarines. Underground. And there's a study that was done that proved that men cheat the same as women. The only difference is that men get caught more often. That's the only difference. So the frequency. And then it says women are just so smart, so intelligent. They're not driven by ego. So they're submarines. So that's what the study said. I don't know, but that's what the study said. And that's running. So I run marathons and ultra marathons. And my first lesson I learned from running was, the first race I did was Soweto Marathon, maybe like 8 or 9 years ago. And I did this race and I was so fit. I was running. Like I got there, I looked at everyone, oh, fat? Too tall. Shit. And then I looked, like I even looked white people like, mahua, done. I was looking, I was so overconfident. I started, I had timed that I'm going to kill this thing. 35 Ks I punched. I was on the floor, cramping, everything. And I saw 5 old ladies, oko, in the beginning. But now I'm on 35 Ks, I'm on the floor. After maybe 40 minutes, obogogo come. And they still, and they say, hey, what's up? What's going on, fun? I'm like, hey, yeah, ne? Things happen. The first lesson I learned with running is run your own race. So as in life. Run your own race. The more you compare yourself to other people, the more miserable your life will be. Because God has your own pace and time. And if you pace yourself in your own time, in your own space, run your own race. Stop comparing yourself. If all of you guys are here, there's a high probability you're thinking, if so-and-so now has a car, I must also have a car. If so-and-so now has done, I must. The more you compare yourself, comparison is a thief of joy. It takes away joy. Stop comparing your destiny with other people's destinies. It's just yours. Stay on your lane. Run your race. Run it at the pace. And I've also learned with running, I run my pace now. I've stopped competing. When this guy running fast, I start. Stay on your lane. Run your race. Run it in the time that you can run it in. If so-and-so is faster than you, that's their lot in life. So that's with running. I learned it the hard way. I was so injured. It took me 6 months to recover from that injury because I was dumb and my ego and overconfidence far outweigh my ability. I exceeded my ability purely because I was just so egotistic and I was so overconfident and I didn't know my race and I didn't know my pace. And running taught me, if you know yourself, you know your body, you run within your body. You run, you drink water when you need to drink water. And because you know your body. Initially, I would drink like, hey, so-and-so's drinking. Hey, what are you drinking? Hey, I'm drinking this mixture. Hey, let me drink. And I'm drinking, now I'm vomiting. Because now I'm doing things that I know nothing about. This one is eating potato. Hey, potato. And now I don't do any of that. I just run my race. This one wears these tights, I go buy them. This one, I'm also, which showed me I lack self-awareness. Now I have high self-awareness, I don't care. I just do me. And you do you, I'll do me. And that's all I do. And the other thing I love is teaching. So I love teaching a lot. You must find the thing that makes you happy. And if you can find it early in life, just grab it and hold on to it for dear life. And just do it all the time. And you will get better at it with time. For me, I love teaching. I love sharing. I love coaching. I love those things because those things are just me. I have ideas more than I have than anything else. And they come natural to me. So that's what I do most. Because that's just me. It's like when I came out of my mother's womb, that's it. I was giving a lecture somewhere. So this is what I'm good at. I have many things that I'm bad at, and I don't complain about those ones. I just outsource those ones. Like, I am bad. My girlfriend knows I can't fix anything. I outsource. Because there are people who are amazingly good with nails and hammer. I suck at it. So I admit, and I just outsource gladly. But there are things I'm good at. I'm just working on those things and perfecting them. You work on the things that you're good at and perfect them. And the more you do it, the better. And this, I spend time with traditional healers a lot. The only lesson I learned from them was that you really need to emancipate yourselves from mental slavery, because none but yourselves can free your mind. None. And this is what I learned from those healers. And I spend a lot of time with healers because they are grounded people. They might not have gone to school, but their wisdom is just so full. So I go and live in with them, and I spend time with them because I love healing. And I love the fact that I could go to a medical doctor or Western doctor, I can go to a traditional healer and listen, because the wisdom is so full. So the lesson I've learned from them was that you can still be you and not have to get rid of the things that made you you. You don't have to drop things, especially things that define you or you like them. Just because now they're drinking champagne and you like Sogam beer, don't feel inferior. Just bring maninkomazi yako, yeah. It's okay. I mean, just love yourself enough to stop trying to fit in. Mina, I love Sogambi, I love Amase, and I'm not ashamed. And I like tribe. Yo, tribe, top. And I will bring it, and I'll open the container. If you don't like it, too bad. This is the delicacy. So I eat it, and I don't care what you think. These are the companies that I've worked in. At UCT, I'll tell you a story about UCT for those who are still studying. When I started at UCT, the lecturer, I attended Stats 1, and I majored in statistics. And so, which should tell you that I'm not dumb. So I did Stats 1, and the first day, the lecturer said, page chapter 1 to chapter 10, we were not going to cover. You did it at school. I panicked. Because I looked at chapter 1 to 10, I was like, we've never done chapter 1 to 10 at Luhlaza Senior Secondary School. You know, when they say comprehensive or senior secondary, you know it's a township. Senior secondary or comprehensive, you know it's a township or village somewhere. So I didn't do chapter 1 to 10 at my school because most of the time my teacher was drunk. So you had to teach yourself, or else you are on your own. And so I panicked and I thought I failed. I could see fail already. So what happened was, also I didn't hear anything he said. He was talking so fast, the English was just moving. I was just looking at lips moving like. And then I was like, damn, this English, higher grade stuff. And 5 days, lectures, I am blank. I am so blank. I am seeing this assignment, I'm flunking this thing. And it was sets. We had to do something on sets. I didn't do sets at high school. And I remember them in primary, but we were drawing them. But no one taught us what it means. So now, I'm supposed to do something on binomial distribution and algorithms and these things, and I don't know what to do. So I then decide, I went to my own fest, black people, just for comfort. And then I realized that we were in the same boat. I thought I was the only one, but all of them were blank. But no one saying anything. They're all acting like, yeah. So then I thought, these ones are blank as well, so they're not going to be helpful. So then I decided that I call my mother. My mom is like courage to the core. So she says, and then what? So? And then I was like, okay, let me go to the lecturer. So I went to the lecturer, made an appointment. I told the guy, Professor Tim Dunn, bless his soul, he passed away. And I'll bless him all the time. Like, if there's a place for him in heaven, they must just find it. The guy helped me. And I went to him and I told him that dude, I am so confused. These 5 days, nothing, not even. I just remember the conjunctions and, but, however. The rest, I don't remember. So he says to me, you're lying. I said, no, I didn't do this thing at school. I'm blank. And then he said to me, no, bring your textbook from your school. I went to Kailicha, brought the textbook, gave it to him. In all honesty, the chapters were there. They were there, but we skipped them. The teacher skipped them. So we thought that was the curriculum. But I also realized, hey, yeah, it's here. Eh? Yeah. And then he says, but it's here. I said, no, I'm not lying. I'm here to be vulnerable. One thing I've learned in life, vulnerability is a strength. You need to learn to be vulnerable. And you need to learn to tell people when you don't know something. Be an idiot for 2 seconds and wise for life. So I went and I told him, I don't know. And then he said to me, okay, what do you want? I said, can you please help me? I am going to flunk and I'm going to lose the scholarship. Because that's the only reason I'm here. If this scholarship was not there, I won't be here. And then he said, okay, every day, Monday to Friday, and sometimes Saturdays, 5 to 6 p.m., come to my office. I will teach you maths that you should have learned in high school. Then I will teach you stats. Now, that's a great teacher. That's a great soul. Because he could see, and I was crying, by the way. Now I'm saying it, but then I was like all ugly and just crying and just like I could see my future ending. And he every day, and then he said to me, the only thing I want from you, you do your part, I'll do my part. You learn. I will teach you, but you do your part. You must be 2 steps ahead of me. You cannot be 1 step behind. You must be 2 steps ahead. So I did that. And I studied maths, and I studied next thing. I'm in stats 1, I pass. Stats 2. Now in stats 2, we studied as thousands. Now there's only hundreds. Then I go to stats 3, there's 10 of us. When I get to stats 4, I get, now there's 5 or 4 of us. Who helped me? The guy, Professor Tim Dunn. Without him, but what led to it, I had to develop the courage and the vulnerability to speak up. I had to say something. No one's going to help you if you don't say something. You have to find it in you to just cry out loud. But don't cry to everyone who can't help, because some people will laugh at you. Cry to the people you know really have deep empathy, care, and will help. And don't die alone. Just cry out, say something. The other lesson I learned, that's UCT. So the second thing I learned at UCT was language. Because I thought English, I can't speak English. So I was scared to raise my hand. And also I grew up in a school where you don't talk back. The teacher says everything, that's it, we are done. Now I'm at a high adversity. This one student is like, no, professor, I disagree with you according to na. Now I'm like, yo. This guy's going to fail. Yo. I didn't have that. But the lesson I learned is that confidence can be cultivated. You can cultivate confidence. So I started speaking up. But now I was reading everything. And I'll be 3 chapters ahead, so that when the lecture talks, I'll be like, sorry, sir, if you go to page 322. Now you see, like I'm backing up with evidence. What I'm learning more and more, if you're a minority at a place, which most of you are going to be, you're going to be, as a woman, you're going to be a minority. As a black person, you're going to be a minority. As a white female, you're going to be a minority. Because 80% of boards in this country, only less than 10% of women are in boards. JSE-listed companies. Less than 7%, actually. So you are going to be a minority. What that means is you are going to be discriminated, you are going to be excluded, you're going to be stereotyped. Whether you like it or not, it's just going to happen. Because majority tend to be assholes. When you are in a majority, you forget your privileges because you're in a majority. Same as a man. When I'm only man and there's 9 of us versus 1 woman, it takes a great man to have enough empathy and insight and foresight to make sure the woman is not excluded. It takes great foresight and empathy to do that. So for you, the one thing I've learned is first know your stuff. If you're going to be a minority, just know your shit. Like, just know it so well and know it better than anyone else. Unfortunately, you're going to have to do it 10 times better than everyone else. Whether you like it or not, it is what it is. Should it be that way? No, but it is what it is. So you're either going to fight it and fail, or you're just going to do better than everyone else. Everywhere I am, I just learn more than everyone else. I just want to know more than everyone else. So that when they talk, competency, I have. Ability, I have. So that they will never criticize me or see me as inferior on technical ability. They might use other things, my skin color or gender, whatever, but those ones we know are man-made. So sooner or later, they will fade. Because you can't beat talent with things that are man-made. So do your homework. Work hard. Study that thing. Become better than anyone else. When I'm at Google now, I study everything about Google. I study search. I study algorithms. I'm studying YouTube. I'm trying to figure out. I even want to be a creator now because I want to figure out how do you do this thing. Because I want to be able, when I stand in front of engineers, I can say something and the engineer will listen. And my color of my skin will be nothing to them. Because they know people like people who are talented and gifted. And people like winners. Everyone wants winners. They will bring you along. And at some point, they will even forget about your skin color or gender. But do something. Then the other thing I've learned from Nike. When I worked for Nike, I had the most fun because I love sport. And we were doing sport. We were running. We were watching football. I would go and speak to Kaiser Motaung as if he's my friend. Kaiser Chiefs. I'll go speak to the players. I studied about how biology works in running, how your feet works, what to pronate, supinate, neutral, all of those things. I studied them at Nike. I went and I met people who did biology, physiology. I went to the UCT and met Professor Tim Noakes and said, teach me the structure of a human anatomy. Now I'm studying those things because what? Because I want to talk about running, but I want to talk about it from science. I just don't want to talk about it just because I'm black and I can run. It's not enough. You must back your stuff with science as well. Yes, of course, Kenyans, Ethiopians, South Africa, we win marathons. Shem, I was running Soweto Marathon, and I was so tired. And there was this drunk guy coming out, and he says to me, I was so tired, I was buggered. And he says to me, yes, you're a disgrace. Look at these white people passing you. You are a disgrace to black people. Come sit here, Naipia. And the guy, I was like, oh, yes. I started laughing because I was like, hey, what am I going to do? He's right. Like, hey, I'm just sucking. I sucked today. I had a bad day in the office. So that's what I learned. Now, the key things I've learned on all of those companies, the first thing I learned was respect. A lot of you are going to join companies or start your own businesses. The first thing you can learn is if you can respect the lady who cleans the toilet, the lady who sweeps the floor, the security guard, you have found your way to heaven. Because the first area where a lot of you drop when you join these companies, you know the CEO, you will know Martin, you will respect Martin, but you will not respect and not even know the name of the person who cleans the toilet. You won't even greet the security guard. You won't even know their name. You won't even know where they come from. But all of you, when you come to corporates, you say, I don't want to lose my identity. I like my blackness. But you lose it immediately. You get into boom gates. So the first thing you might learn is carry respect with you. And the most important people to respect are not the ones that are visible, are the ones that are invisible. Your job in life is to make the invisible visible. That's your job. You don't need to make Martin visible. He's visible already. And he has enough oxygen there anyway. Those people who are there, they have enough oxygen. The people who need visibility are the ones on the ground. So whenever you go, whether you start your own business or you're in a corporate, do yourself a favor, respect everyone, irrespective of their title, irrespective whether they sweep the floor. Because the people who taught me the most in most companies, even when I was at like Vodacom, the people who taught me about airtime is the security guards. I'll go and speak with them. What phone do you have? Oh, hey, yeah, ne? Tilili, hey, yeah, your phone. How much memory does it have? Give me your phone. I'll swap phones. I'll give you a smartphone. Let me use your phone for a month. Your phone is hard. But who did I learn it from? Security guard. Then they give me ideas. They give me tips. I get to the boardroom and I say something. They're like, hey, where did that idea come from? I'm like, I know for Babu Sipo. They're like, who's Sipo? You see, people don't even know who Sipo is. I know who Sipo is. Because Sipo is my competitive advantage. So if I were you, that's the first lesson. The second one, someone asked me, do you have fear and doubt? I have it all the time. Did I have fear and doubt coming here? Yes. Was I stressed? Yes. Was I stressed even more when I saw all of you? Yes. So stressed because I don't want to say something that will mislead you. And I don't want to corrupt you. So I'm stressed and I'm doubtful whether I'm the right person. And I'm thinking, did they call the right person? Now, here's the lesson that I've learned from these two things. All of you, you are going to get into positions where you have doubt and you have fear. Some of you are religious. Some of you Christians, Muslims, Judaism. Some of you Zionist. Some of you Shembe people. Some of you, ZCC. Sorry, ZCC if I didn't. Lechanyane Prophet. Some of you are other churches. There are so many. But in the church, you all know this word faith. But what I've learned with it is that everything that I've done so far, all I've been doing is I push through doubt and fear. That's all. And I use faith and confidence to push through doubt and fear. Where I have no confidence, I thumbsuck with conviction. Just fake it. I'm just like there, smiling, deep down, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to fake it until it manifests itself. And so what I'm learning in life is all of you are going to have doubt, all of you are going to have fear. The only thing you should not do is let it cripple you. The only thing you should not do is let it paralyze you. The only thing you should not do is give up because you have doubt and fear. And I now push through doubt and fear through faith and through confidence that it will work out. That's the key thing. The other thing, don't join companies where it's not inclusive, where they do not practice inclusivity. If some of you are gay or lesbian and you are black and a woman, you basically carry 3 struggles with you, or 4 or 5. You've carried more. And what you will find, you will be excluded. You will even be excluded by other black people because you decided that you would become a lesbian, which is your God-given right. But if you go to places where they exclude you, don't work for companies that are high on exclusion, that are not high on inclusion. And the key thing is, if you do not deliberately, intentionally, proactively include, you will unintentionally exclude. So you need, all of you, to learn to be deliberate, intentional, and proactive about inclusion. You need to. You need to learn to be inclusive because that's the best way to work. You need to embrace other people's differences. The other place, you need a place of safety. Don't go and work anywhere or start a business where it's not safe. When I mean safe to disagree, safe to be a comrade, safe to say I'm an EFF member, which I'm not, by the way. He is. But you need to be safe. You must feel safe. You must go to places where you feel safe. If there's no safety there, you are never going to realize your true potential. So you must also create an environment where people feel safe around you. If people don't feel safe around you, they will never give you their best. So you must also create a safe environment for other people. They must also create a safe environment for you. And you must do this to each other and help each other so that you must be able to ask questions, be yourself, take risk, and all of these things. And you must be able to do because you're in a safe space. I think money. Some of you are going to be tripped by money. I was tripped by money because I grew up poor. And the first thing I did, you know what I bought with my first income? It's silly now that I think about it, but I drove a Range Rover on a balloon payment. I was so broke. But I thought Range Rover equals happiness. Then I thought, now what did that do? It makes you make poor career decisions. If you're poor with money, you will make poor career choices. You will make bad business decisions if you are poor with money. And one thing I've learned with money, I started studying money. And I had to accept myself. It took me 4 or 5 years to get out of debt. When I got out of debt, and I accepted myself that money is your mirror. How you spend your money, it tells you a lot about who you are. It tells you a lot about your self-esteem. It tells you a lot about your peer pressure. It tells you a lot about just how you love yourself. It tells you a lot about something called delayed gratification. If you cannot have delayed gratification, money will show up, how you spend money. And I learned all of those things through money. Money showed me flames, lots of flames. It taught me a lot about who I am. And then also the lesson I learned about money is that at the end, everyone who's won a lotto, over 80% of the people who won a lotto, they lose it in 3 years. 3 years. Globally. Not just South Africans. Some even end up in jail after that 50 million rand. Because money can only increase your happiness up to a point, and then it's a diminishing return. You cannot use money to prop up your happiness. It's not going to happen. I've learned that the hard way. I hope you do shortcuts. You don't do what I did. And then the lesson I learned, know money and respect money. And know money so well that you and money are like just brass up and you're on the same WhatsApp group and you and money are just gliding through life together. And if you don't do that, money, you will make a career decision, you will chase a job because they will pay you more. Do you know what happens with everyone who chases jobs because of money? When they get that salary increase, they adjust their standard of living to that salary increase. So you are always in the red. No one has an improved career through chasing money. You have an improved career through building depth and breadth. If you build depth and breadth, that's for another day. If you were to ask me to do a career 101 session, I'll do that one day so that you can figure out depth and breadth. And that's all you're going to do. First, my dad gave me an advice. I had 2 jobs. I had BMW and I had Unilever. And BMW was going to give me a 3 Series, of course. And then I was like, I could see myself. I could see the ladies. I could see me and the party, the only guy with the car. VIP. I could think all of those things. And my dad asked me, out of the 2, who's going to train you? So I went to BMW. I said, what's your training program? They had none at the time. Unilever, they had a 4-year training program, like mapped out. This month we'll do this month, this year, we'll do this. Then my dad said, go there. Money will follow talent. But talent needs to first grow. And money will follow, promise you. Once you are really great at what you do, money somehow just attaches itself to you. It finds you. But if you suck at what you do, money doesn't play. It will disappear and evaporate. So the lesson I learned was, first, build depth and build breadth. Then chase money. If you chase money first, even people who started businesses, I work with a lot of tech startups. The first 10 years for most of them, there's no money. Some of them are eating bread. Some of them are hustling. They know money. All you see is Steve Jobs when he's made money. And then you glorify him. But you don't know which way he was sleeping. You don't know how many shoes he didn't have. You just see the trophy, not the work. So do the work first, and then chase the money. And I say this particularly to those who grew up poor, like me. Don't chase the thing you didn't have. Chase the skill and the depth and everything, and the rest shall come to you. And it normally comes. I promise you it does come. About career, the only thing I can then say to you about career is that my mother thinks that you must be in a job for 30 years, 40 years, same job. I understand she's on jobs, she's risk averse on jobs. She still wants a job that will be 40 years. All I can say to you, here's what I've learned. I'm sorry for those who don't follow football. I love sport, but I couldn't find another analogy because I love football as well. In football, there are two types of coaches, there are two types of players. There's a coach that is Alex Ferguson and what's the other guy? Arsene Wenger. For Arsenal fans who don't win much, hang in there. It's going to happen. It's like Kaiser Chiefs. It's going to happen. Those two stayed in the same club for over 25 years and won either many trophies or less trophies. Then there's another two coaches, Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. Those two only stay in that club for 2 seasons or 3 only. But they've also won many trophies. You see, the difference is that there's nothing wrong with dying or retiring in the same company. There's nothing wrong if that's your preference. But there's also nothing wrong in deciding that you want to be Pep Guardiola or Jose Mourinho. Let's use this one. There's Messi and there's Ronaldo. They both won 5 Ballon d'Ors, those global player of the year, both of them. How did they do it? Messi stayed with Barcelona from birth, it looks like from birth, till now. He's with Barcelona only, but he's got 5 Ballon d'Ors. Ronaldo didn't stay with Barcelona only, or he played for 5 or 4 teams. He's now in his number 6th team. But what has he done? In all of them, he's won something. So the formula for your career does not necessarily need to be Alex Ferguson. Okay, just as long as you're making an impact. The only thing that matters is that people must remember you. Because all you take with you to the grave is your reputation. That's all. The rest, you leave it for us, and we will chow it as we see fit. And we won't have any mercy on your money. You've left behind. And someone taught me the equation for a great brand is a great reputation equals winning plus strong values. That's a great reputation. That's a great equation for a brand. If you want to build a brand, it's built on great reputation equals winning plus strong values. Winning talks to ability and talent because hard work will beat talent any day. Strong values talk to character. And I can show you this. The reason Zuma is poor or had a bad reputation for ANC members, I apologize. The reason Zuma had a president Zuma, had a former president Zuma, had a bad reputation, he was poor on character, and he was poor on winning. The reason Tiger Woods lost his reputation was because of character. Not because he cheated golf. Because he still has 14 majors. And he didn't cheat the game of golf. But what did he do? His character let him down. So whatever you do in life means that your character must be greater than your talent. Rather, not sell your soul and your talent for anything. Rather, hold on to your character, because your character will destroy your reputation faster than your talent. Because your talent, you can recover. Your character, you can't recover. So hold on to your character for dear life. If they want a tender and they want you to be corrupt, then so be it. Don't do it. Because you can't get your character back. Do you know Dr. Paulo Jordan? What happened to Dr. Paulo Jordan? Does it make him less clever, the fact that he's not doctor? He's still clever. But the fact that he didn't declare that he didn't have a PhD, he's not doctor, what happened to his reputation? It collapsed. Most men, particularly men, they fall down from character, not from ability. Character will screw your life. So hold on to your character, and your character must far exceed your ability and your talent. And if there's anything else that you take out on this, is just please, just be consistent with your character. And if you are going to be an asshole, be a consistent asshole. Like be so consistently asshole that you have a PhD in assholism. That when people see you, at least they can say, he's an asshole, but he's consistent. The worst thing you can do in life with your character is have highs and lows. Be inconsistent with love. Be inconsistent with respect. Be inconsistent with care. People will never know what to do with you. If you're going to be mean, be consistently mean. It helps because at least we know how to handle you in your meanness. You know, Julius Malema, the reason I've had some white person saying, hey, die Julius, yeah, man, die Julius. And then they said, hey, but he's very honest. You see now, I'm listening. What is he saying? He's saying he's consistently forthright. You might disagree with him, which is a good thing. But what does he have? Consistency. If you can be consistent with your character, whether it's bad or good, just be consistent, because at least then you give us time to manage you. I promise you, if you want to be an asshole, be one. Just be good at it and be consistent at it. Then at least we know when you come, we're like, yeah, there he is. Manage yourself and your expectations and your heart. Wear the armor of hope. Wear the armor, everything. So that's what I've learned all these years. There's so many more, but to not waste time, thank you very much, and I wish you really well. Thank you.